Okay, hello everyone. Welcome on Taproom, which is going each Tuesday. Today we're going to overview StarWind to node Hyper-Converged for VMware, and it's me, Oles Boris, who is going to make that review. There is one thing I wanted to ask you before we'll start our Taproom. Could you please send me a quick message into questions like okay, saying that you can hear me and see the presentation well. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Uh, so we should probably move on to the next slide. Here I am, and it says that we have every Tuesday a tap room, and it quickly says about me and about what we're going to do today. So basically it repeats everything you've seen on the previous slide, and I think we can move on. So here I am. This is not actually the best picture, but it's me at least, and I'm Oles Boris. I'm solutions engineer at StarWind Software, and I'm here for half a year. I really like my job. I enjoy StarWind. I enjoy configuring systems, troubleshooting them, and so on and so on. Uh, my hobby, for example, is gaming, or I don't know, having fun with friends, or like as everyone else, maybe something different. Which differentiates me from everybody else is playing computer a lot. The next slide. uh, the next slide provides you with a quick overview of what are we going to do today. And today we will overview our guidance, which is on our website, which provides you with a step-by-step configuration of StarWind with VMware. Also, we will show you and talk about upsides and downsides of LSFS and provide you with some numbers saying why it's good. And yeah, and the last thing we're going to do today will be questions and answers. And the thing I wanted to say before doing anything is that just like 30 minutes ago, we've noticed that we are having issues with VMware vCenter, and we are losing it for some time. So I think this presentation will be shown from one host and second host, so we actually won't be able to see it from a cluster perspective and so on. But believe me, they are clustered, and we'll be able to log into both StarWind virtual machines. I'll be able to show you everything in the guidance, and it won't be an issue at all. And first thing I wanted to start off is a guidance, and we'll just quickly overview it, and then we will, like watch for a first step and then go and see if it's correctly configured on our stand, and then I'll explain why do we configure that and how it should be done. And yeah, basically this is what we're going to have, and after each topic of that configuration, we were going to move on some quick brief questions, and then on and on and on, and eventually our taproom will end. Okay. Uh, yeah, so over here you can see our guidance. This also can be found on our website, and it says StarWind Virtual SAN Hyper-Converged to node scenario with VMware vSphere. It's a technical paper, yeah, and we can move on says some info which I actually never read, and over here there is a context. There is introduction here, diagram, and all other stuff we're going to be looking through today. Introduction is actually the thing I have already provided you with, and over here there is a diagram. And this is how actually our system right now is looking. So we have one LAN, we have two sync channels, and we have one iSCSI network. And yeah, we have two virtual machines where StarWind installed. We have two data stores and two physical servers. And this is basically what we're going to overview today. I think we can move on. Yeah, and another difference about this interface is web interface, and we will show it in the desktop interface, not in the web one. So as for creating data center, I don't think that really is a thing which should be described, since it can be done by clicking this button over here and then giving it a name and saying OK. That's basically it. And then creating a cluster is also a pretty straightforward thing, which I don't think needs to be given any attention. And yeah, you add both hosts to it, giving those logins, passwords, saying next, next, next. Yeah, license keys. Nothing interesting. And eventually you have a cluster with two hosts. We have the different IP addresses, but I don't think that really matters. And over here, the interesting thing comes. So configuring networks will be the first thing to discuss. And in my opinion, this is a pretty important thing, because on this switch configuration, a lot of things matter. And I'll now pull up on the screen our setup over here. So this is our vSphere. Yeah, vSphere. This is our SAN virtual machine already configured. And as for the switches, if we go into configuration and go into networking, over here we have the same switches. And the first one is for management. You actually, when you're configuring them, you have to, you're configuring those for your virtual machines, because you cannot install StarWind on physical ESXi hosts because it's native to Microsoft Windows. And as for ESXi, you have to install those on virtual machines, and for those virtual machines to have its own network, you really have to configure those. And the first one is our management network. And over here, you're creating a virtual machine network, and you assign a NIC, a physical NIC to it. And that physical NIC, all those physical NICs are over here. And those are uh, like live things which are on your physical ESXi hosts. So you assign a particular network to a particular NIC, and then you make a VM kernel and give it an IP address for your ESXi to be able to connect. And then you give another, well, in our case, we've done a very similar IP address but called differently inside of our virtual machine. So basically you say add over here, you choose what you need. You need a virtual machine network and a VM kernel per one physical NIC. And then you go next, you choose stuff here. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what IP addresses and stuff you have yourself. And then eventually you'll have an IP address here and a name. And same here, you'll have a name, but not an IP address, because virtual machine network doesn't have an IP address. Here it has it inside itself. And this is what you do for each network. And basically, this is what is shown here. So, whoops, you're creating these for your virtual machines to have network. After you've done all that, I don't think it actually, yeah, it shows that you have to configure 3 of them since, let's go back and, yeah, over here. So you have 3 of them. One is used for synchronization, the other one is used for second synchronization, and the third one is used for iSCSI. And the management one is not shown there, and it is not shown, I believe, yeah, because here is a scroll and it's not scrolled down. After you've done all that, actually another important part about these things is jumbo frames, which we do have configured, and we suggest configuring those to everyone, and they can be configured over here. That screen I have is very, very small. Yeah, they are configured over here. I know we don't have them configured here since this is a management network and it won't need those jumbo frames. So speaking more about jumbo frames, those are needed for iSCSI traffic. And basically what is iSCSI traffic is a traffic which we send client requests, and usually those requests are big. And if you are, so this is a standard amount, I believe 1,500 is set there. And this is a standard package size which you transfer over your network. And it is a too small package size for a SCSI traffic. And to decrease the amount of those packages and increase the actual throughput, we over here we set it to 9,000, and I will show you that, for example, on this network. No, yeah, over here. Over here it says 9,000, and this is how you configure your jumbo frames on each network. You just set it to 9,000 on each switch, virtual switch, and that is done. The second part about those networks, which I will show you just in one moment, I will log into that virtual machine we have, or I can even do that from here. Yep. 1 second, I'll pull up to you guys. Here it is. Here is our virtual machine. Which has StarWind on it. So yeah, coming back to our networks. By the way, just for you to know, we will have another document added on our website, which will provide you with OVF template with this virtual machine. So you will be basically opening that template in your ESXi hosts, and you will be getting this virtual machine with StarWind installed with this StarWind agreement over here, and all those networks will be you'll be able to configure all these network right away from your ESXi interface. You'll just type in the correct IP addresses, and then all those networks will appear with those particular names. So yeah, over here you have to, after you add those virtual switches and you provide network for your virtual machine, actually not here. Yeah, you go here and I don't know why it's so slow, but I'm sorry. So you just turn off everything away from here. If you're using that network for synchronization or SCSI, you go into properties and then you configure the IP address and the subnet mask for it. And you do that for each network that you have and you want to use it with StarWind. And after all that is done, the last thing to do is to go into configure. Come on. Yeah, is to go into configure. Yeah, and over here you go into jumbo packet. Yeah, and you set it to 9,000 here as well on each network, since if you do not do that here, all that MTU settings you've done in your ESXi host won't matter at all. And this should be done per each network, and this way you'll provide your virtual machine, which is used for StarWind, with proper amount of networks and properly configured networks. And I believe at this point our topic about network ends. And just before we go into the next one, I want to ask you guys, do you have any questions about this one? Okay, so there were a lot of questions, and the first one and the easiest one was, is this, did you just show Hyper-V? No, I showed you ESXi, which has a virtual machine installed in it. Yeah, which has a virtual machine running on top of it, and that virtual machine inside ESXi hosts has Windows Server 2012 R2 installed, because StarWind cannot be installed on ESXi host. Uh, the second question is, do we need 10 gigabit LAN switch? Well, if you want to, you can get it, but for StarWind, the minimum amount of network links is, you can read about those on our website in the system requirements. And as for this configuration, it has two 1 gigabit links for the synchronization and one 1 gigabit link for the iSCSI. There are many questions about demonstration of Hyper-V, and no, this Taproom is for VMware, and Hyper-V Taproom I believe will come out in 1 or 2 or maybe 3 weeks, but I don't think longer than that. Here is a great question, which sounds like, what happens if I don't enable jumbo frames for StarWind using 2 hosts? Basically, nothing happens, and you just won't get as good performance as you could. So your network links will be slower, but everything will be working and everything will be great. And yeah, uh, enabling jumbo frames on physical switch ports is also what we need by if you're talking about virtual switches we have in the ESXi by configuring them inside vSphere client, you're configuring them on actual physical ports, or in case if you're talking about a switch, you have to log into a switch interface and configure them as well over there, because they will not work if you don't have them configured everywhere. And over here, I think it's time to move on to the second topic to get everything in time. So preparing StarWind VMs, this is a topic we will just quickly go through it. So over here it basically says how those should be configured, how much of RAM memory they should have, how much of, stuff and stuff, which really doesn't matter now because as I said previously, we will have our new document and it will come out, I believe, on Monday, maybe Friday next week. And it will have a template of that StarWind virtual machine with StarWind already installed inside of it. And all those parameters you see on your screen will be initially configured for you. And you'll just have to type in the IP addresses for that network and everything will be much easier to configure and everything. There will be possibility to configure everything just on the fly. And then the second part, configuring StarWind VM startup and shutdown. This thing is really not an important one. I mean, it is important, but not that important that I think this needs to be shown or described because you just go into a VM startup policy and say 120 seconds, and that's pretty easy. And you need to do this because if everything starts up on a fly, then the system works pretty slowly, and that's really bad. And just to make it perfect and easy, you start up your host in 2 minutes after your host has started up. StarWind Virtual Machine fires up, and then there is no high loadage or anything, and everything works perfectly after StarWind Virtual SAN fires up. StarWind service fires up, then your ESXi hosts have a storage, and then your production or non-production or any virtual machines you like to use, they also fire up, and then everybody's happy. And this is a script I was like briefly mentioning about that when StarWind virtual machines fire up, and this script is actually needed for a automatic storage rescan, as it says on a slide. And the thing is that when StarWind virtual machine starts up, it has it started up, everything's cool, but StarWind service starts up a little bit later. And ESX, as we know, since StarWind Virtual SAN is virtual machine on the ESX, so the ESX, this is a machine which starts up the first, the second one goes StarWind Virtual SAN, and the last one is StarWind Service. And by the time when StarWind Service is up and running, ESXi has already done the rescan, and it actually, for some time, it doesn't see the StarWind storage. And just to make ESXi see StarWind storage in time, we configure the script over here. And then after StarWind service is up and running, it triggers a rule. Here it triggers a rule, and then the script is working and everybody's happy. And I won't be showing you the I won't be writing a script right here because that really takes a lot of time, and over here all the text described pretty straightforward and easy, but I will show you how you configure the event notification rule in StarWind because I think that's a really important thing. So uh, give me just a second. I'll bring our virtual machine back to us. Here it is. So to show you that, I'd have to connect to StarWind Management Console, give it a little while to fire up, and yeah, okay, yeah, here it is. I actually do not know yet why do we need both of those. I think this will be redone because 2 screenshots is too much, I think. Finally, great, good job. So over here we have our 2 servers, StarWind servers, and those servers are actually our virtual machines, and right now we will not be able to connect to it since I was changing those IP addresses, and those IP addresses are not correct, unfortunately. And I don't know what will be faster to show you another virtual machine or keep on working with that one. I'll just quickly log into another one because I'm sure another one has correct IP addresses, and then we'll move on. I'm sorry for all that stuff and that we're wasting a lot of time for me to show up the correct screens, but fortunately, oh yeah, so over here they were out, and great, so we remove this one from here and then we add a server, and the one I have configured has this IP address, if I'm not wrong, and I'm not. Great. So here we are connected to our StarWind Virtual SAN, and these are devices we are right now using in the ESXi, but we'll talk about that a bit later. And here we are talking about events, and if you choose a server which you want that event to be configured on, you choose it, you say configuration, and then you go into event notifications, and over here there is a big field where you can just simply right click, or over here press add rule button, but I prefer right clicking. You say add rule, and then over here you choose events, and I don't remember actually what it says in the guide. Whoops. Yeah, let's quickly double check for that. I believe, yeah, it says all events, and then you just choose only high availability there. So yeah, not all, just high availability. Then you go into action, and then you say add a record to system event log. And when this one is configured in StarWind, you have a written script. You add a rule in the windows to trigger that event log writing, which will say that StarWind service is up and running. It will trigger a rescan in the ESXi, and you will have all your StarWind storage available, and everybody will be happy. And all your VMs will be happy as well. So this is a basic overview of that script from StarWind perspective. We're not overviewing the actual script. Yeah, over here it says add record to system event log. Over here there is a text which should be written in the script, and then yeah, here is the text. Over here there is a basic task wizard where you give it a name. When you say that it is triggered when the event is logged, you put on some settings. This is really easy and straightforward, and then eventually you will have it configured and over here displayed as a task. Okay, and here is the most interesting part in my opinion. This is how you actually this is how you are creating a StarWind device, and we can quickly look through this one, and after that I will launch my StarWind management console and show you a better step-by-step view of that. Yeah, here's our VM. So if we go over here and launch StarWind Management Console, you see we have a couple of devices created here, and then we say add device advanced, and the difference between advanced and just add device is that add device configures a device with just usual default settings, and the advanced wizard provides you with a choice. And over here you have three types. We choose virtual disk. Over here you call it somehow, you store it somewhere, and we say StarWind storage and give it a name 123. And over here you set the size, you play all those settings around. If you're configuring ESXi, you're using this allocation unit size. If you're configuring Hyper-V, you're using this one. Since we are configuring ESXi, we will use this one. We go next. Thick provisioned and thin provisioned. Thin provisioned is LSFS, and thick provisioned is just usual casual image file. You go next. This is L1 cache, which uses random access memory to increase your performance. And this is L2 cache, which uses SSD drives to increase your performance. Since we don't have those, we will choose not active or not available. I really don't know how that in a yeah, over here you can configure stuff. I don't want to configure those. I really enjoy my default settings. And yeah, finally we created our basic, usual, and casual device. Over here, though, it shows you how to create a replication, and replication can be created here. For that, we will have to add another server. I believe this is the IP address of it. Am I wrong? No, I'm not. Great. So yeah, over here you just right click on it, you say replication manager, you say add replication, you go next, you give the IP address, once again the same one I was typing in, you say next, create new partner device, you choose a path for it. Our path was here, and we should call it the same since it's a copy of it basically. Over here you set your network settings. I believe we have these as a synchronization channels and those as a heartbeat. That networks are needed for StarWind basically to work, and those are those networks we were configuring in switches and virtual switches in the ESXi, and in the networking pad here. So after that is done, the synchronization starts, and we have two replicated devices here. Let's open this one. Yeah, we have nice progress bar here. And yeah, that is how you configure replication. So we can pass this one, and I'm almost certainly sure that nobody has questions about that one, since it's really straightforward and everybody knows about that. Adding discover portals is an interesting part, and this is where you use all those networks that you've been adding in those switches. I'm sorry, my girlfriend just wrote me a text message. Yeah. Sorry guys, really. uh, and then after you add those, you do a rescan, and I will show you how you add those in this one. Yeah, over here it's open, and if we select our server and we go into storage adapters, over here we have iSCSI software adapter, and here if we say properties and dynamic discovery, you will see IP addresses here. And these are the IP addresses which we were configuring in our virtual switches, and you are adding those. And after you have added those, you say rescan all, you say OK, and then in the storage section, well, you will see nothing, and then when you say add storage, you say disk or loon next, and over here your new StarWind device will appear. And actually we will do that rescan because I have just added that little drive where I was showing you the replication, and when that rescan finishes I will be able to show you how that storage is actually added. And while ESXi is doing that rescan, we'll move on. So yeah, here it says what I was just showing you, that storage adapters, creating data stores. This is also what I was telling you about and will be showing you after our ESXi does a rescan. And yeah, this is that new device, and over here, and vSphere HA. Okay, so basically we have finished this document, and I will show you, yeah, the rescan is completed. And over here we say add storage disk or loan, and over here this is our new 1 GB device. We say VMFS 5. We say next, give it a name. It has 123 name in StarWind. It will have the same name here. And actually now it will say that it is not able to create this device since it's lower than 1.33. Yeah, but if it was 2 GB size, you would click twice next and your storage will be added. And the last thing I wanted to show you, I don't know guys if you know who Anatoly is, but he's trying to disrupt me. I was going to go back to our virtual machines. I don't want you to restart. Okay, so the last thing for today, I believe I've went through that whole guidance and it was pretty clear, and if it was not, I will give you a bunch of time for asking me questions after we finish all that. And the last thing I wanted to show you is our LSFS, which was mentioned. So basically, whoops, we don't have that Ometer in this virtual machine. I'll quickly switch to another one. Okay. This is our second virtual machine, which has everything the same, but or not the second one. Uh, okay, I believe I know the reason for that. Yeah, it's because I'm logged in as an administrator. Oh my god. If you knew, guys, how I'm seeing this over here, you would have understand why am I doing all those stuff so slow. Uh, okay, okay. Yeah, Anatoly is so bored that he's trying to speak to you guys. Uh, shh, don't talk. This is my tap room, and oh really? Please add. Yeah, thank you. Close. Great. Uh, yeah, Imeter project. Wait a second.
Just download the Google Chrome.
Oh my god. No way. Yeah. Come on. Stop it. Yeah, I want to add anything you say. Anything. Just let me download one file from here, please. I beg you. Stop. Oh, thanks. So over here, yeah. Oh my god. Enough. Back. Add anything. Really? Okay. So in 2 seconds, I expect that save as desktop over here. Great, great. We have it downloaded here. We will extract all that. Yeah, here and here's our Imeter. And yeah, I know why. Oh my god, no, please. Guys, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that would be that hard. But at least you'll know all the step by step how to do that. Okay, finally. We have the correct one. Save as Anatoly. Unfortunately, I cannot open since I have to extract it before opening. Yeah. Okay, so here's our Imeter. I won't really describe all those settings we have over here. I'll just configure those as a standard Imeter thing. So over here, I'll set the amount of sectors, which will say how much uh, memory will it fulfill for testing. Over here, I do not set everything, and as a test, I will choose a hard one, which gives you 100% right and 100% random. Results displayed will be last updated. The update will be 1 second, and we will be testing our C drive, which is a local drive for that machine, which is StarWind. But StarWind actually the thick provisioned image, and that's the point. So over here we're setting C and just 1 second. We have to make those workers 4 of them and test results and go next and just cancel and we'll see how slow will it be. Yeah, we need a little bit of time for it to fill up the disk. And this disk over here, we're using 7,200 RPM drive, which will show you 5 megabytes and 1,100 IOPS, I believe. Yeah, and that is actually not really good, but it's really well for a drive which we are having. And this is what I was trying to show you over here. And this is a usual image file, a C drive. It's this one, which is used as a C drive in this virtual machine. And now I will be configuring a LSFS device. And yeah, so I will be configuring an LSFS device. I will store it somewhere, yeah, over here and call it LSFS and give it, for example, a 10 gigabyte and I will connect it locally. I won't be enabling deduplication. I won't be enable any cache because this is just a test. If you want to get even higher performance, you can enable it in your environment. Yeah, and I just got a hint that I won't be doing that cache setting to show you a pure result and to connect it only locally to this machine and not doing anything in the ESXi since I've already shown you how you do it. We over here have our, yeah, which one of those is LSFS? This one. Great. So we're going to be connecting this LSFS locally over here by a loopback IP address. We're saying okay. We're uh, launching our disk management, and no, we don't want to format. We just want to. We have 50 seconds left, guys. So this disk is online. That's great. This is all we need. So it's over here. We're going to delete those. We will do just the same settings as we did before. We'll choose the same test, but the only thing we will do for it, no. The only thing we have to do for it, since it's the LSFS, for making the test fair, we will say alignment to 4K blocks since LSFS is native to 4K blocks. And over here, we will say that we want the last update. We will multiple those workers to 4 and say start. And we were expecting slow speed on those drives, on that drive we had. And by using LSFS with default settings, we have 4 times, yeah, 4 times increased performance by using pure LSFS without any caching, L1 or L2. Yeah, 3,000 IOPS and 11 megabytes speed. And this is 11. 4? It was 4. 1.3? Okay, whatever. Anatoly is trying to give me a hint, but actually I can see everything from here. So we had 1,000 of IOPS before, and right now we have 3,000 on IOPS, and we multiplied our performance in 3 times or 4 times by using just usual LSFS device. And I think that's more than enough. Okay, so yeah, we have ended doing things here, and we should probably get back to this presentation over here. And just give me a second. So yeah, over here there is a time for your questions, and since we have already wasted, not wasted, we have already been 1 hour to that one. For some reason our logo stacked. Well, 1 hour was that. I will actually look through all your questions and ask one and answer one best questions, and all those questions that you want to ask me, you can address those on my email, which I'll show you on a screen after I answer a good question. So right now, yeah, and there will be a recording after it so you can overview. Okay, there is a great question about storage spaces, which asks, do we support them? And yes, we do support them, and StarWind actually works with them perfectly, but we do not recommend using them because StarWind software is not native to them, and yeah, it's not native to them. But still, you can use them easily and configure everything you want as we did just on this Taproom with jumbo frames. With not with jumbo frames, with storage spaces without any problems. So I will quickly give you my email for you guys. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can ask them there. I will send to all you. Yeah, I right now send an email to all of you guys in the question box. And we unfortunately have to finish our tap room now. And I want to thank you all who came into this tap room. I want to help you. I want to thank you all who came to this tap room, and I really enjoyed the time I spent here, and I hope I described enough detailed all that guidance we have. You can watch this webinar later on our website, or uh, you can write me an email with your any questions. And I wish you a really nice day, and I wish you the best. So bye bye, and I hope I see you later, guys. Bye.